4, 3, 2, 1. You're locked into Auto Glass Digest Talk
with your host, J.D. Browning, the auto glass industry's #1 podcast.
Welcome, everybody. So today we have John and Eric with Mobile Tech RX. Guys, thanks for coming to the studio.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
So we've been trying to do a podcast for a little while now, and it's always like scheduling. But you guys were in the neighborhood. We were shooting some video and thought it'd be a great opportunity to kind of let our viewers get introduced to you guys, the products and service that you offer for our listeners, viewers, and just kind of talk about the industry as a whole, because what you guys have access to is pretty strong in the automotive reconditioning. Like, you have your finger on the pulse. Like, if it's happening in the automotive reconditioning industry, you guys know about it. And I think one of the cool parts about that is, we talked even 2 or 3 years ago, you guys were like, we want to do this auto glass thing. We're going to get this auto glass thing. And then like, boom, it happened. And it's pretty amazing. So let's talk a little bit about your backgrounds in the industry, because I think that's key for developing, products and services that people actually use, is if you've been there and done that.
Yeah, so I'll start, and then it'll segue into how I met John.
All right, that's got to be a good. So we were at a bar one night, and I just. But yeah, go ahead.
So my background is actually fixing dents in cars, and so I was a PDR guy. Started in 2007, and so I did that all the way up until about 2 years ago. And so in doing paintless dent repair, it was often that I would work around other vendors that did, paint touch-up, wheel repair, glass replacement. So I was around that space the entire time, and commonly referred my, skills to their clients and vice versa.
Right.
And so we did that. Me and my co-founder in that business, we worked in paintless dent repair up until about 2 years ago. And about 5 years ago, we actually hit a point where we thought, okay, there's something missing here on the estimating invoicing side. Everybody's doing it, using paper.
Right.
And now there's these apps that are out. And so we really should consider, switching into that. So we tried to switch to one of the softwares that exists now. Didn't find it helpful. There were a lot of things that were missing. And we thought, okay, there's enough here where we really need to just make our own. Right. So we know exactly what it needs to have. We have no idea how to code it or make it.
Right.
So we'll go find somebody and tell them what to do.
Right.
So that's how Mobile Tech RX got started.
That's right. And how did you come into play, John? So I will say that out of probably almost 5 years into Auto Glass Digest, John holds a record for interviews. I think I've interviewed you the most. And also, I think you hold the record for, we never have 2 takes with John. So
yeah,
John
we've never had 2 takes.
It's always one smooth, continuous take, and it makes my editing life so much easier.
Yeah.
Well, my history goes back just a little bit further, and then we'll connect the dots there. My dad was a body man, so I grew up in the body shop. So some of my youngest memories of fixing cars is me sitting in the middle of the roof of an SUV with a piece of sandpaper doing God only knows how much damage,
right.
And it was a roof that my dad was painting. So I painted my first car when I was 15. I started in a professional body shop in 1990.
Oh, wow.
In 2000, my wife and I owned our own body shop. And how I got into estimating was our body shop that I went to work for in 1990 was still using the Mitchell manuals, paper books, and we pulled them off the shelves. We put everything in. They went computerized in the early 90s. The very first time Mitchell went computerized.
Wow, that had to have been some archaic, DOS,
It did DOS. You had to use a wand and you had to barcode out of the manuals.
Oh, wow.
And put them in the first generation of Mitchell. And the guy that I worked for said, I'm not doing it. Yeah. You're the estimator now. Oh, and that's how I got into computerized estimating. So we fast forward, I started into paintless dent repair, transitioned into paintless dent repair in 2004. And from there, my wife and I knew we loved to travel. Right. So then we started chasing hail, and I always carried a laptop and I had my Mitchell Ultramate on that. And we got known for assisting local companies that got hit with hail. We would get invited to come help run their retail business because I was familiar with computerized estimating.
Right.
And that's how my name got passed along to Eric and Damon.
Nice. So we were talking about, isn't that like the utmost of freedom being in that RV and like, where are we going next? You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I loved it. We were actually working a storm just south of St. Louis when I told my wife, I said, man, I'd like to get back to Austin at some point. And then a mutual friend of ours, Jeff, called me up and he's like, dude, it hailed in Austin. You got to come over there. And so, yeah, we retract the jacks and moved our house to Austin. And geez, we were there 8 months. I think we did that storm with you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had Mobile Tech was out. Mobile Tech RX was out for about a year, and then a hailstorm hit close to home. So this was back in the days when I was still fixing dents and at the same time fielding tech support calls while I've got my hands on a tool.
So you are the true entrepreneur. You know how to grind it out. You're doing like 7 days a week, like multitasking all the time.
Yeah. Evenings, weekends, everything.
Right.
So hailstorm hits Austin, and so we get flooded with work, and we've got, I think, around 25 technicians that came in to help us out. Wow. And John was one of those technicians.
Wow.
And so we, first time I met John, and he comes into the shop and he gets introduced to Mobile Tech RX and is asked to write estimates using this. And so he gets all excited because he's used to using.
I was using a Windows computer, man,
Yeah.
but I bought an iPad because I knew at some point somebody was going to make an app that I would want to use.
Right.
And so I remember leaving John at the retail shop and then having to run around town to manage all these other body shops we had. And coming back to the shop, and John would get all excited and be like, he'd pull up from the wall, he'd have a clipboard that was just full of ideas. And he'd be like, all right, you got to do this, this, and this, and this. And, these are all the things that are missing. And he was so passionate about Mobile Tech RX.
Right.
And it was that time where we're also considering, should we raise a little bit of capital to get some of these things done quicker? And it was just an obvious partnership. So we were like, John, do you want to be a part owner of Mobile Tech RX?
I think it was a little more, do you want to just shut up and buy a part and then we don't have to listen to this anymore?
Right. Well, I can tell you that, conducting a ton of interviews over the course of my, career on the media side, you can tell if you've never talked to someone before and you just walk up and like, would you want to do an interview? You can tell within 10 seconds if the person is passionate and believes in that product or not and how confident they are. And that was one of the things that struck me with John was like, he was just, he never hesitated. I was like, hey, you want to do an interview? And he was like, boom. Like we were like, I didn't even know what to ask. Like, I don't know anything about this stuff, but I was like, I just want to talk to these guys.
In the early days, we didn't even have anything to show you.
Right. And, and that was something that, came across with John, especially was just his passion for it and being so outspoken and everything with it. So what's next? I mean, I know you guys just had a really good round of raising capital. What's next for you guys? I mean, now it's kind of, you're covering almost everything in the automotive reconditioning industry. I mean, what's next? I mean, are you at a point to where you're like, oh, we need to figure something out? Or are you like, here's our game plan?
Oh boy, I'm pretty sure we got a long-term game plan out there. Right after the first of the year, we're going to have our final services in there. We've got a couple in the app now that are in basically pre-release, getting the feedback from the people in those services. They're going to do a hard launch. I think we're scheduled for that around the 1st of February. The rest of it, it's just basically continue to grow the business, reinforce and continue to improve the core product, as well as make sure that our users that are out there have a positive experience and are getting all the benefits that Mobile Tech RX provides.
And do you feel like it's like a huge bonus for you to have been there from the beginning and actually where someone in the field doing the manual labor and like, wow, if I had something that could do this, and then helping that transition into Mobile Tech RX as it is today.
We've had so many people say after using it for the first time, like, okay, I can tell this was designed by a technician. It's obvious. There's no way you could do this if you weren't.
Yeah, we struggled in the field just like all of our users have. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, you can definitely tell if it's someone that has a background in what they're doing as it relates to how passionate they are about what they're doing. That's not always the case, but you can tell. I mean, you don't want to go to a baker and say, hey, will you help me design a car? You know what I mean? You want to go to a car guy and say, will you help me design a car? So it definitely, you can tell when you look at your product, like it's so smooth and streamlined and like anyone can pick it up. And we were talking about this earlier. Katie, who has never, I actually have never done an invoice for automotive reconditioning before. We were playing around with the app and with no tutorial, nothing, like within 3 minutes, she had the auto scan VIN, she had the pictures, and like we were invoicing, Yeah,
and that was the idea, to be fast and simple and accurate.
Right. It's funny because to find anything that has those three things in common and they work, usually it's one or the other, It's like
you can pick two.
Right. It's kind of like a car. You can have a really fast car, but not going to be the most reliable car. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. And I want to get more, we're going to take a commercial break. I want to get a little more into like the backstory and hear about the early days and your relationship getting into the auto glass industry, which is obviously my favorite part. And we'll just kind of get a little bit of a backstory.
The newly released glass module, co-designed by MobileTech RX and GlassWeld, is an industry-leading, multifaceted app available for your Apple or Android device. You can create professional glass repair estimates and invoices in a matter of seconds using the industry-leading VIN scanning and decoding feature. And it's not just for glass. It includes built-in service screens for window tinting, paintless dent repair, paint vendors, and more. Try it for free at mobiletechrx.com.
Welcome back to Auto Glass Digest Talk.
All right, perfect. So let's talk a little bit about how you transitioned over into the auto glass side of things. So you guys have a relationship with Shiloh and GlassWeld?
Yes.
Is that so?
Yes.
Shiloh was kind of your in on the windshield repair side?
Yes. Yeah, so we started off doing paintless dent repair modules, and the name Mobile Tech RX was for a reason. It's because we knew we didn't want to make software just for dent repair guys. We wanted to expand it into the other auto recon services.
Right.
It's so common that a dent repair guy will also offer other services. So we knew it was needed, and we also knew that to build a legitimate business, we couldn't just sell to that one niche industry. And so we knew that there was going to be a glass module at some point, and the reason it came about at the timing that it did was just a happenstance introduction to Shiloh. So I play in a basketball league every week,
right?
And it turns out Shiloh also played in a basketball league every week when he was living in Austin. And one of our investors that invested around the same time as John was on Shiloh's team, and they played together for a couple seasons before actually connecting the dots and asking what each other did.
Oh, wow.
And so when Shiloh mentioned he was president of GlassWeld, and we mentioned that we've got a software company that we sell to auto recon techs, so just kind of naturally we're asking like, oh, we want to create a module for people that do windshield chip repairs, and it just kind of. And
I think that was actually fortunate for you because I've always had a tremendous respect for Shiloh. He thinks outside of the box. He's never going to sell the same product forever. Like he's always wanting to adapt and change and improve things. And plus he's really big on tech, like he's one of the few people out there shooting videos, he knows,
Yeah.
where the audience is and how to get it. And he's very forward thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a very sharp businessman.
Yeah, and growing up in that industry, being like a family business, I would say he's like the encyclopedia of windshield repair. You know what I mean? Like he knows his stuff. So that's a good relationship for getting in.
Yeah. So he was very influential in the glass repair module that we do have in Mobile Tech, and making sure that it was understandable when
right.
when you clicked on it, and made sure that it came from a actual tech's perspective. I mean, if it was left up to Eric and myself, it would have been like, yeah, you broke it here.
Right. Yeah. So it needs to be repaired, done. Yeah. But no, that's cool. That's a really good and interesting. You never know who you're going to run into at any given time. That's when we were doing the interview here in the studio, like the testimonial where you talked about relationships. Like that's what this whole industry is about. You never know who you're going to run into or how you're going to cross paths with people.
Yeah.
So what's next? Are we going to be looking at like a full-fledged, like rolled out auto glass, like every single part? Like, are we looking at something like that in the future? Or am I I'm not trying to get the cat out of the bag or anything, but
to be determined. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So we knew what we wanted to have was, a simple module that at least allowed people to use all the features of Mobile Tech RX, which would benefit, any auto recon business greatly. But then also have a customized estimating invoicing screen specifically for glass repair.
Right.
And then that would, open the door to expand upon adding EDI integration, adding a module specific for replacement as well.
Right.
So we are eyeing this additional build out for that module.
Yeah. So I think that's cool. So I have a very good, I've got my finger on the pulse of social media. I don't see a lot of people who are in love with their current software providers. So maybe that's something that you guys could look into, having like a full-fledged auto glass software. I mean, I know there's a need, I'm not using any currently, but I know people are always asking, and it seems like no one is really in love with what they're using now. So maybe that's something that could be looked at.
Yeah, and that's the feedback I got at SEMA too. So we had several glass companies come up and demo the product, and they liked what they saw, but they would be even more interested if it had a couple extra bells and whistles here and there, the ones we're thinking about adding.
Right.
And they said the same thing you said is, they've got something now, but they're really hoping for something better.
Well, that kind of goes back to the same thing we were talking about with Shiloh. So you guys aren't just happy with what we have now. You guys are always looking to improve, make things better. So, I kind of feel like, I'm not going to put names out there, but I kind of feel like the auto glass software industry is just kind of like stagnant. There's nothing like new and exciting. Like when I was using that software daily was 10 plus years ago, and I've seen it recently in visiting other glass shops, and it still kind of looks the same.
Still the same.
Yeah.
That's the entire world of pretty much every aspect of auto body, whether it's auto recon, glass, wheel repair, paintless tint repair. Mm-hmm. It's like everybody's stuck in Windows 98.
Right. I'm always a big believer in this too, is no one invests in change until they have to. Like if someone else comes around and they're like, oh, look, we're the new shiny new thing. Then they're like, oh, we're going to change now. Well, you knew all along you needed to change. You just didn't want to put the effort in the money.
But change is never easy.
Right.
And that's something that when we started with paintless tint repair, boy, we turned that whole world upside down. And we're slowly doing it with each of the other modules as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So wheel reconditioning, paintless tint repair, windshield repair. What else?
Interior reconditioning, detail. There's a detail module now. We've got paint protection film coming out soon. Paint and body. So we've got it set up for guys that do dealership paint touch up and bumper repair, all the way down to writing up collision.
So, go ahead, John.
As well as you have the ability to order OEM parts.
Really?
From right within the app.
That's pretty cool. I definitely want to take a look at that and kind of.
And that includes OEM glass.
Really, that's and so I'm learning something here as well. I definitely want to take a look at that. So, if anyone is in the automotive reconditioning industry, not to for lack of a better word, you've got an app for that.
Yeah,
like it's out there, and you can pull up all of the different. You can do a wheel repair and a windshield repair on the same invoice, and just pull it all up and.
Absolutely. Yep. So you're not, when you sign up for Mobile Tech RX, you're not limited by whatever service that you provide now. So the service modules, part of what keeps our pricing a little bit lower is we're not trying to have 8 different apps. We've got Mobile Tech RX, and you can, and so if you are in reconditioning and you're thinking about adding an additional service line, you've got an industry leader showing you the way to price it out and stay competitive, as well as ease yourself in and give yourself that professional look to your clients. The days of rolling up to somebody's house and scribbling on a notepad and shoving it on the dash are pretty much long over.
Well, that's something that I always talk about this. People will ask me, so Autoglass has a little bit of a seasonal tendency to it. Like, diversify, add some stuff to, what you're doing now. Then when it's a little slow, focus back on your Autoglass, once stuff picks up. So, if you're doing Autoglass and you're not staying as busy as you would like, and you feel like you've exhausted a lot of the avenues of advertising, going out and getting work, diversify, add something, paintless dent repair. That is certainly something that's huge.
Well, look at all the new treatments that are out there for glass.
Oh, yeah.
We started seeing a lot of those come out a bit at SEMA. We've got the ceramic coating available for windows. We have crystal clear UV for the inside of glass. I've added it. I had it added to my own vehicle while I was working in Texas, because I'm from South Dakota, man. We melt in that kind of temperature. Those things make a big difference, and they do sell, and consumers are looking for them. Mm-hmm. And we've already got the modules. If you're and have your subscription to Mobile Tech RX, adding any one of those right to your already existing lines, it's just point and click.
Right. And you already have the customer there. You're in front of them, so you're already there. If you can make that upsell while you're there, why not?
Yeah, marketing has proved over and over again that once you've established that trust with your customer and they're already buying from you, upselling isn't that difficult of a task.
Yeah, and it's the same reason you walk into McDonald's. They don't just sell one burger and one fry.
Would you like to supersize that?
Yeah, or would you like to try any one of these 30 other menu items that we have? It's like people like options, especially Americans and their cars. They always like the good, better, best. Even if they're paying more, they always feel like they're getting something better. And with their cars, Americans are no slouches. They'll spend money on their cars.
Yeah, even as a glass repair tech, if you can't do the dent repair, we have modules in there with matrices designed for the everyman to estimate out a dent with very little knowledge in paintless dent repair. And so you can give a fairly accurate estimate that's got enough leeway in the price to where even if you don't get it dead on, it can be, you can still send that job out and have it, sublet it out to another dent repair tech, and they'll be more than happy with the price that you ended up, estimating it out for.
So you have your own little network built in there where people, so if I go out and do a chip repair and I notice there's an opportunity for a PDR, any kind of upholstery repair, and I cannot do that myself, I can still write an estimate and someone else.
So you can build the estimate out, but you are going to have your own network of vendors in the area that you
Gotcha.
subcontract out.
We're seeing that a lot more with our users, and I do a lot of our training and how-tos with the app in dealing with the public. And we started seeing this about a year ago, and then it's been expanding. And it's actual independent little businesses like a chip repair, a paint touch-up guy, a PDR guy, an interior guy, and a detail. Mm-hmm. And all of those companies are all independent, but they work and network with each other, and then they offer package services. So one of them may have the account or the client, and they'll sell all of those other services, and then they just stay in touch with those other businesses.
Right.
Hey, I finished my part, Eric, now it's yours. Let me know when you're done. And then the final bill goes back to whoever had that account, and then they just pay the other techs.
Yeah. So again, it's going back to relationships, networking and building those relationships. And I've never attempted PDR before. I can tell you that it looks, and before people start blasting, it looks easy. Okay. But I can tell you that 100 people have come up to me and said, it looks so easy replacing that windshield. So I'm not naive. I know there is certainly a very large skill set there. So if you don't want to learn that skill set, find someone that already has it and just network with each other.
And we did that when I worked with Eric, when we first joined together. When I was working that retail hailstorm for him, we had a local mobile detailer that showed up, and he said, hey, I do mobile detailing. I've just moved to Austin. And I said, great, because I've got all these customers.
Right.
And I don't want to wash their car. I fix dents, and he wanted to detail. It was a great partnership. All of our customers, all of Eric's customers were extremely thrilled with the results that were provided through his shop. Mm-hmm. And the detailer his business got to grow. And now they're still there. If he details a car and he sees a dent, he can upsell the dent, and he's got his partner dent company right there.
Right. So that's interesting that, excuse me, you're helping to facilitate people making money off of a skill set they don't even have. So I think that's very interesting.
What's great too is you can actually link the two accounts together. So we set up a feature specifically for this, to where you have your network of vendors, and if you all used Mobile Tech RX, you can add each other to each other's account for free and set up permissions in a way where you could have an estimate set up, and it has dent repair or glass repair on it, and you could assign that out to where they're able to log into the app and switch over to your company. They can estimate an invoice under your company and then switch back over to theirs. So we made it to where multiple businesses could play together, keep all their stuff separate, but also have the flexibility to go and invoice inside of someone else's account.
Yeah, that's very brilliant. So I'll ask off camera which one of you guys came up with that idea. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I think that was a joint thing. I think between the whole lot of us, because we really wanted a way. Well, like Eric was a local PDR company, I was a hail chaser. There's no way he's gonna buy a subscription from me, and I wasn't gonna buy his company a subscription on my software. So it only made natural sense that we should be able to make a guy like me be able to link together with a guy like him. So
that's really cool, actually. I mean, to be able to offer a lot of services and then just build relationships with people who can fulfill those, and everyone makes money off of it.
Well, and it follows the same principle that car dealers have learned. For instance, we were driving down the road earlier and we were discussing it was car dealer row. And every town you go into, every city you go into, it's car dealer row. And why does every dealer sit right next to each other? And that's because they've proven that all of those dealers together, the people will drive through them and they will stop and buy a car from one of them. Right. Car sales increase even though the competition increased, because people got to look at more and more options. So you provide that when you're providing that service, and you've already got the relationship with that client. Right. They're already purchasing your service. So if they are confident that you're going to do the right job for them, then they're confident that you will be connected with a person that will do the right job and solve their other issue as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's about as forward thinking as you could get. I mean, I really like that concept of networking, and kind of gets people out of their comfort zone a little bit. A lot of people are like, I like to stay to myself, and like, but hey, there's a whole nother world out there if you get out and start networking with other people. It doesn't have to be people in your industry. Obviously, exactly. You guys are creating opportunity for people to come together that don't even have the same skill set as far as what reconditioning project they're working on a vehicle.
It works great even if it is somebody in your own industry. If there's a catastrophe event where there's a lot of windshields need replacement or repair, and you need to staff, temporarily from people coming in, that out of town or nearby towns, they can jump in and temporarily tie in with your company as well.
We even have local PDR companies in larger cities. They might have a customer of theirs that is now on the far side of town, and if you're in, say, Houston, you're not blazing across town in 15 minutes to take care of that customer. So they networked with other PDR guys. Yeah,
we were talking about that. Matt and I were talking about Houston earlier. I sold a customer there an ADAS recalibration system, and we were talking about his coverage area, about where I had no idea Houston was that big. Like, it's like 150-mile radius, he's right in the middle of town. He's like, I cover 75 miles this way and 75 that way. And I was like, holy cow. But it was like hundreds of enterprise rental car locations there. I was like, I had no idea how big Houston was. Yep. But it definitely takes you all day to go from one side to the other with traffic. I found that out the hard way.
Yeah, it does. And that's where networking makes a big difference. And everybody wants to be, we're all honest, but the best way to be honest is to be prepared. And by having something like Mobile Tech RX, just the same way you can be on your phone right now and check your email, you can be on your phone and see that the person that you asked to get this done, or your employee who's out in the field getting work done, it's simple. Just open the app and take a look. Everything's live and up to date.
Right. And speaking of opening that app and taking a look, tell us about, this is one of the things. So you can always tell, I'll make this really simple. If you go into an ice cream shop and they're giving free samples, it's because they know they have something good. They're not giving you a free sample of something that tastes like dog food, right? So if you have a product, you're confident in it, and if you can get it into someone's hands, they're probably going to use it. You guys offer a free 30-day trial, right?
Yes, and we've even had people call us and say, hey, explain the difference between your software and these other two softwares. Mm-hmm. And the best response we can give is do a free trial of all of them. And we're confident that and our product is going to talk for itself, and you're going to choose ours afterwards. Right. So we want to give it away for free, to let you try it out, because we know that by the time you've given it a chance, you're going to love it.
And then, so how does that work? You go online, you fill out your information, put your credit card information in.
Yep. So go to the website, mobiletechrx.com. Mm-hmm. Takes all of 30 seconds. Maybe less, to create a free trial. Mm-hmm. After that, download the app from either the Apple or the Google Play Store and log in. It's as simple as that.
But you don't need to put in that credit card. You just got to put that credit card in before your free trial expires to keep your account active.
Even better, because I'm always so horrible. It's like free trial, and then you put your credit card in. It's like, I didn't really want that, and then now I'm paying for something so that's cool. So that even leads to be a little more confident in what you have, is the fact that you're not even trying to trap someone into giving up their info to where they're probably going to get billed at least once.
In fact, that's something that we've been working on as a corporation, because that's a big issue with our users, is they get so wrapped up, and mobile tech becomes so easy to learn and quick to learn that it becomes natural and a second nature to them. And the first thing they forget to do is to go back in there and put that credit card in.
Oh, right.
So the end of their 30 days, if they're not adamant about checking their email when we send them the automated emails, hey, in 3 days, in 2 days, it'll go, then they'll be calling tech support in a panic. Why can't I open my Mobile Tech RX?
Right.
Brother, you need to put in a credit card. Your free trial is
We'd much
ended.
rather have those calls than somebody calling up upset,
Right.
demanding a refund because they never used something and were forced to put a card on file.
Right. So are there limitations on like the free trial, or do you have access to everything?
Full access.
If I did a free trial tomorrow and I felt like I needed tech support, I could call and I would get the same tech support as someone who pays.
Yep. You can call, you can email, you can text. And depending upon the package levels that you have, we even have remote chat when you're using the back office portal.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Some people aren't a fan. I like to chat. So while I'm online, I can have my chat going while I'm emailing and doing this other stuff and like multitasking. But sometimes it's nice to talk to a person.
Yeah.
And so this is my question. So where's your customer support based out of?
San Antonio.
San Antonio. So if I call, I get a nice Texas accent. Absolutely. That's cool. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to kind of wrap up here, but I definitely have a few more questions for you. And then I know you guys need to get on the road. So we'll kind of wrap it up, but we'll be back in 30 seconds.
Do you want to know how easy and effective advertising on Autoglass Digest can be? Visit our website to fill out our advertising form or contact me directly at katie@autoglassdigest.com to find out how you can reach our audience throughout our various platforms and original video series.
Welcome back to Autoglass Digest Talk.
So I know you guys need to get on the road. Appreciate you coming in. So free trial, and tell us, we were talking during the break, Black Friday. Tell me about that because I love a deal.
All right. So for Black Friday, we're offering 15% off when you do our Max package, which includes the analytics feature. And that runs all the way through Cyber Monday. So we're going, it's live right now.
So Cyber Monday is like December 2nd or 3rd?
December 2nd.
December 2nd. Okay, cool. So 15% off on that.
For 12 months.
Oh, well,
I need to make sure that I've got that all correct here. So sorry, I'll just offer a random deal.
Yeah.
We're on Autoglass Digest. Tell you what.
That's right.
Yeah. So 15% off the Max Growing Business Plan with the full analytics package. And that analytics is unlike anything that anybody in reconditioning has ever offered.
That's pretty cool. So tell everyone website and phone number.
So the website's mobiletechrx.com and the phone number is 888-626-6750. And the San Antonio hours, Eric?
7 to 7, Monday through Friday.
So
Central
is
time.
that central? So that's pretty cool. So you're even with us, I get people complain, but it's like I can only work so many hours in a day. West Coast people, 3 hours behind, so we try to catch as much stuff as we can. But yeah, I mean that's cool being centrally located. So 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, thanks for coming on the show. We'll definitely be doing some stuff in the future. I can't wait. We're actually going to go out and check out some of downtown Charleston, grab some food. I know Matt is over there giving us a look like wrap this up so we can go get some go get some seafood. So
yeah,
I appreciate.
Well, thanks for having us, Jamie.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
You've been listening to Autoglass Digest Talk, the industry's #1 podcast. Follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast to catch every episode at autoglassdigest.com.